Hi everyone, it's James from Sussex Outdoors. Welcome back to my creation station for another repair video. I've been past an Osprey Exos 58 rucksack by a friend that needs a bit of repair work. The stitching has come away on the brain, on the head pocket. I'll do a close-up of this. The stitching has ripped, very similar to the tent I did recently. So the plan is to take the brain off, unstitch, and get it all fixed up. So the brain does detach, which is good. So this should all feed out through here. So that's that piece off. And the same on this side. So now I've just got this piece to work with. I can move this out of the way. I'll bring you in a little closer. So let's go for something to cut, something to unpick with. So where are we? Here we go. Right. This might be easier if I work inside out for now. So yeah, it looks, it does actually, yes, it does look like it wasn't stitched through properly in the first place. I don't know. The fact that you can see this bit of fabric and it's actually separate from this layer of stitching, so I will rectify that with the repair. So let's go in and see if we can grab that first stitch without catching the fabric. Gotcha. There we go. And then there we are. And we're off. So I'll get this unpicked. I'll bring you back. So here's a little interesting thing. I'm taking this apart, and where I've taken this this sort of bias binding off, if you look, this was supposed to be the original stitch line. You can see where it's, let me give you some light, you can see where it was stitched on between the two bits of fabric, and you can see it's not actually really ripped as such. It was the fact that it was never actually stitched in the first place on this part, and for some random reason they've put in this extra sort of curved bit of stitching. Whether that was to try and hold that little bit, I'm not entirely sure, but the fact that we've lost all of this is I'm actually going to unstitch this back to this corner. I want to unstitch the whole lot of that and reseat it properly before I stitch this back on. So yeah, I don't think it was an accident. It was definitely a manufacturing error, but again, it's something that's fixable. So let me take that apart then. So I've completely taken all this stitch back now. My plan is I will bring this piece of fabric actually up to an inline to there, and then I shall restitch with a generous seam allowance all the way along, so it's actually held together. Then once that's done, then I can then bring this back over where it belongs like that, and then restitch the covering back in, and we should end up with how it should have been manufactured in the first place. Let's get cracking. For this inside stitch, I'm going to be carrying on using the usual heavy duty beige twine that I use for when I'm doing all the wax canvas goods, for the main reason that this is going to be hidden anyway once this has gone over but because this is nice and heavy duty twine, I know that this is going to, or heavy duty thread, that this is going to hold this together nicely, and there's going to be no slippage, no nothing on this. So let me get this fed in. There we go. I'll bring you back. Where does the... So the plan is, again, as I've done with the tent, is going to overlap the original stitching, go back on myself, so that locks the original stitching in. And then we're off. Bring this together. To gently run these through. There comes the fiddly bit. Got to keep that out of the way as well. Bring those two together. I need to take this up to where that original stitching was. There we go. One more. And then backwards and forwards, make sure that's locked in, and I can trim that. There we go, that is well stitched on both sides now. So what I can do now is I can swap this thread out to some grey, which I have in here. Swap that out to that grey, I think will do beautifully, and then we can finish it off. You can see what I'm doing here, where the stitch line is. I'm taking the binding to go over, make sure that's nice and firm all the way up to the back, and pinning that in place, and then taking this all the way back to where the original stitching started, where my new stitching begins, and get that really tucked over. And then my plan is I will start my new stitching from about here, which is going to give me about a centimetre and a half of the old stitching as well, so it all locks it in like so, and then run it all the way to the other end with the same, and then that should give us a fixed item. And let's go in and then start working backwards to lock all of this in. There we go. Forward. So there we go. There's the finished repair. That runs all the way through. That is seamed properly on both sides now. My stitching started here and ended there. And if you look carefully, you can just see where the overlap of the two, the new and the old stitching. But that is nice and strong. That's not going to come apart anytime soon. So I can go put this back onto the bag and pass it back to my mate. I think he should be happy. Anyway, thank you for following along. Another repair video. if you've got any questions or anything like that, I'm willing to give advice where I can with regards to stitching and everything like that. So thanks ever so much. See you on the next one. Bye bye.